Everything in our body is likely regulated by metabolism that allows to maintain homeostasis, therefore health. First, we need to take a look about in the past to see how people see health. Great philosophers see health as the culture of care of body and mind. And we can see in the phrase, a healthy mind is a healthy body. They define health as another deposition or cataphysic. However, the Catholic philosophy understands health as a gift from God. Thanks to him, we can preserve our health. In biopsychological perspective, health is an implicit right, applying the postulate of distributive justice. It seeks to need to create a condition of health through proper nutrition. But the place that we will look the most for health is the World Organization, the World Health Organization, or WHO for the acronym, define health as a state of completely physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely absence of disease. The definition does not only consider health as a well-being, but they consider health the person that must be physical and social aspects. Now we talk about health, but health, as I already mentioned, need two really important concepts: physical health and mental health. We can understand physical health. They represent one dimension of total well-being. They refer to the state of your physical body and how well it's operating. A person who has a good physical health is likely to have a body function and process working at their peak. The person that has a physical health is likely to have regular exercise, a balanced nutrition, and a well rest. Mental health. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, mental health refers to a person's emotional, social, and psychological well-being. Mental health is as important as physical health. It's hard to define mental health than physical health because many psychological diagnoses depend on the individual's perception of their experience. It's important to approach health as a whole rather than separate factors.
The concept of disease is used in accounting for physiological and psychological disorders. The concept of disease is a general scheme for explaining, predicting, and controlling dimensions of the human condition. In the past, health has been thought of as just the absence of disease. Today, it is thought of more as a state of physical and mental well-being. There are two different types of disease, the communicable and the non-communicable. The communicable disease are which result from infections by microorganisms called pathogens and are contagious. Two examples of this type are the influenza and the malaria. Next we have the non-communicable disease, which are not transferred between people or other organisms. Two examples of this type are the alcohol or other drugs and the stress. During the antiquity, people thought that the health and disease was attributed to God's work. After the years, people understood that disease doesn't have a magical explanation and nothing resonated with divine punishment. They start to understand that the illness has its cause in disordered lifestyles or disturbance in the dynamic balance of the physical body. The difference between the concept of disease and the other types and the similarity of the various models of disease is complex and problematic. It is not even clear that all the models of disease fall within a simple genus. Lifestyle choices such as not smoking, maintaining a healthy weight, and being physically active can help to prevent some of the most chronic disease and some types of cancer. For that thing, we must protect our life using correct nutrition and doing exercise to take care of that.
Okay, now we are going to talk about the adolescent health, one of the most important things in the development of the young people. But first, we have to talk about the definition of this period. Well, adolescence is a stage that is characterized by the transition between childhood and adulthood, which implies physical, cognitive, and physiosocial changes. That's why sometimes teenagers feel like in the middle of two different worlds. one the childhood and the other one the adulthood. Okay, but we already know what is the definition, but we must know what happens in the adolescence. Well, the principal factor in this time is puberty. That is the period in which a person develops in a physical and also in a mental way. For example, your toes start to change or you start to develop a sexual memory. That is very important. Okay, so after all this concept, we have an important question. How can we take care of our health in adolescence? Well, for this, there are three principal factors that intervene in the health conservation: the physical, the social, and the mental. And to be healthy, there has to be a balance between the three. So, there are some recommendations for physical health. Do exercise every day, have a good alimentation, sleep enough, at least 7 hours, and keep up with your vaccines. This is very important for you. Now, some recommendations for a mental health. Try to do your best in the school. Also, have a good relationship with your parents and learn different ways to manage stress. This is going to be very helpful. And now, at the final, some recommendations for the social health. Try to spend time with your parents and also your friends. Also, be positive and always smile. That is very important.
Physical changes. Upon reaching the adolescent stage, in addition to the obvious changes in mentally and social environment, physical transformations take place within the body. Among them, the following can be highlighted. Hormone changes, such as the increase in those that are essential in reproduction. This helps men to develop testosterone and androstenedione, while in women, menstruation arrives. Due to the secretion of androgens, armpit, pubic and facial hair, as well as physical growth and body odors. The next topic is amygdala. It's a group of neurons located in the temporal lobe, which is related to the emotional and instinctive relations. This amygdala is considered part of the limbic system. The amygdala also is one of the best understood brain regions with regard to differences between sexes, men or women. As brain matures, it begins using more frontal lobes, which tend to plan, reason, judge, and moderate emotions. The next topic is cognitive maturity. To introduce this topic, we need to understand cognition, the concept of cognition, known as all processes or structure related to the knowledge and the consciousness, such as perception, memory, the representation, the conceptualization, the thought, the conjecture, the expectation, the planning, and the memory. These factors help the adolescent to make smarter and more planned decisions and employ in each of its areas. The last topic is going to be about risk factors. Circumstances and events could dramatically harm the life of an adolescent, mentally and physically. These situations are called risk factors and could be categorized. Booster factors, which affect health directly and we are exposed to them continuously, like contamination, pollution. Trigger factors, which are emotional situations that can affect your body, stability, and your health. Then facilitating factors, which are the consumption of toxic substances that are harmful to our health, like drugs or alcohol. And last but not least, predisposing factors, which generate sensitive towards an agent that causes disease, happening mostly when the mother consumes drugs or uses to smoke. When someone who will have a son or a daughter consumes toxic substances, this uses to happen and the baby could develop some diseases or problems in its health.
Okay, now we're going to talk about healthy lifestyles. But to start with this topic, we must know what a healthy lifestyle is. First, we must bear in mind that a healthy lifestyle is important for everyone, since they are related to personal habits and health. And because of this, it is necessary to introduce good habits and that improve health. Maybe at the beginning it can be difficult to change the habits we have, but there are certain steps that we can follow to be healthier, which we will mention later. Lifestyles are the behaviors of individual nature that are linked to chronic diseases and are related to the perception of risk factors. Now, with the previous information, we can define what a healthy lifestyle is. This is a way of life that reduces the risk of becoming seriously ill. And although not all diseases can be prevented, there are some that can occur a long time later. We must also know that health is not only about avoiding diseases, it is also about physical, mental, and social well being. There are four fields to determine health, and precisely the lifestyles are the most important, since they represent a great impact on the health of people. Now, to refer to the opposite of a healthy lifestyle would be unhealthy lifestyles. That if we have these could cause us many diseases and problems. Some of these could be overweight, obesity, diabetes, stress, and heart disease. If we have a healthy lifestyle, it is not only beneficial for us, but even the youngest children can follow our steps and follow our example to have beneficial habits in all aspects of our lives. An example that we could put in this case will be if a person performs adequate exercise, had a balanced diet, and many other good aspects. He will be less likely to suffer from any disease and all their systems will be stronger. With this, the probability of suffering mental illnesses such as stress or depression will be less. So, to stay healthy and strong, we must follow a healthy lifestyle.
Health behaviors are actions individuals that affect their health. They include actions that lead to improved health, such as eating well and being physically active, and actions that increase one risk of diseases, such as smoking, excessive alcohol intake, and risky sexual behavior. The book mentions 7 behaviors that lead to health. The first one is sleep between 7 and 8 hours a day. If we don't sleep well, our immune system will be damaged, and this will make us sick more easily. Our digestive system will be affected, among other things. That is why it is so important to sleep well. The second behavior that the book mentions is have breakfast every day. Breakfast is often called the most important meal of the day, and for a good reason. As the name suggests, breakfast breaks the overnight fasting period. It replenishes your supply of glucose to boost your energy levels and alertness, while also providing other essential nutrients required for good health. The following behavior is performed 3 meals a day, since this gives us energy so that systems such as the nervous or digestive can work and also stay active. The next one is maintain body weight within acceptable limits. Being at a healthy weight is essential for being good physical condition. Looking good physically, sleeping well, avoid diseases like diabetes or high blood pressure, and having an active sex life. The fifth behavior is practice a physical activity regularly, since physical activity helps people lose weight and reduce the risk of developing some diseases, in addition to helping to have a good mental health. The following behavior is do not consume or moderate the consumption of alcohol. Alcohol can affect your reasoning and judgments every time you drink. Long-term alcohol consumption damages neurons. This can cause permanent damage to your memory, your reasoning skills, and the way you behave. The last behavior is no smoking. Smoking damages almost every organ of the body and organ system of the body, and lowers the general health of the person. Smoking causes cancer of the lung, esophagus, larynx, mouth, throat, kidney, bladder, liver, pancreas, stomach, cervix, colon, and rectum, as well as acute myeloid leukemia, among other things. Take care of mental health. This behavior is not in the book, but it's important to take it into account, since if we don't have a good mental health, we can develop mental illnesses such as depression, and if our mental health is affected, we will have a greater probability of suffering other pathologies or that our lifestyle is affected, among other consequences.